Hello everybody. This evening is going to be another water pump repair. The old 8820 started leaking whenever I finished up a field. I was unhooking the header. Noticed I had liquid running down. I checked it. It was antifreeze, so it was a water pump, but it was bad for a while and caused a little more damage than what I wanted. But here's part of it. We're going to rebuild it. Of course, I've already tore it apart to figure out what parts I needed. So this is part of the bearing. I had to torch it to even get it to come out of the housing. The shaft, as you can see, this groove there is supposed to be there, but the rest of them are not. And that part here set in there, even where the seal ran. It'd been leaking for a while. The weep hole apparently was stopped up, so it didn't show signs of it leaking until it took the bearings out. Got the instructions that came with this little kit. It details a little bit, basically your gappage between the propeller and the housing. Here's the old propeller. As you can see, the fins are wore down versus a new one. So that's no good. These are our new parts. The propeller shaft I already had sitting over here. Here's the new shaft. This groove you see in it, you got to make sure that goes to the propeller side, and this side here goes out the front side of the pump. And then inside this part here, you got this little rubber ring. It'll fit in the housing. You got this porcelain seal. It's got a groove in that side. This side is smooth. The groove goes inside of the rubber, and that all kind of sits together, which I'm actually going to have to put together without it being in there, though. It's too tight to just slip in. I'm probably going to have to lube it up a little bit too, because it does not want to go together. At least not with one hand. We'll get to that in a minute. First thing I got to do, which is this, got to go into that shaft. We'll set this up there for a second. Now, the front part of this housing, like I said, the damage it caused more than what I wanted it to. It really grooved it in deep here, damn near all the way through. So yesterday evening, I put some JB weld across there. Of course, I barely had enough to even get this much on there. And I just took a flat bar and kind of smoothed it out. Then today, I just ran a buffer across it and flushed it. So it's not perfect, but it's going to move water. The weep hole, which is down here, is actually cleared out now. It wasn't before. But we're going to put this on here. And the first thing we do is press the bearing into there. And then the second step would be press this back onto there. And this piece here is very important to have it in the right spot on the shaft so your belts will line up. And you want this edge here flush with that housing once you get it pressed in there. And the way this one was, this little smooth polished part, and when it champers in, that was right on the edge of that, of the old one. You take good notes on that part, where they're at before you push them apart. I used a gear puller to pull that off. I didn't use a brake or anything, or press. I need just a hair bit of oil. Let's see. It says use like a 10 weight or something. I've got some Lucas 4-wheeler oil here, left over from my 4-wheeler sitting here behind me. And where am I going to set you guys at so I can actually operate a little bit? This is the first thing I'll do is get a little oil on it. So that way she'll slide together. Put a little oil on this shaft here because that'll be the next point. Alright, set that in there. Now you can't just push down on this or you'll push that shaft and bearings right apart. So what works in my favor here is a 3/4 impact socket. Fits right on that edge just right. I mean, different brands and stuff is going to be different. And then we bring her down till starts going, sliding right in like it's supposed to. For some reason, this old housing though, I could not get it to budge, and I didn't want to. I had quite a bit of press power on it, and so I just quit and I took the torch and just heated it just a little bit. She getting. Whoa! I think that is enough. That pop was a. Yeah, I believe that is flush. It is. I like that. Okay. Bring this jack back up. That was the first step. Second step. Like I said, we can't just put this on here and press it on. You're going to repeat pushing that shaft through the bearing, messing it up. So, I'll just take and move one of these weights over to where the shaft is going to sit on that. And let me set you guys over here. I know it's not a very good spot, but so it'll stand out. That's not going to work either. Making lots of racket. Let's slide this over. There we go. Now I can sit on there like so. Sitting on the shaft stud. That's it there. And so I'm too tall for that. I'm gonna bring it down a long way. Not one of these big sockets. One a bigger socket on there, so once it gets down to a certain point, the part of that taper to the shaft will come through the top of it. Now the bad thing is, I don't know where I'm at. Alright, I got a couple more pumps. another 1/8 inch. I don't know how much it's actually moving it, but it feels like a lot. Yeah. A little more. Man, it feels like that's enough, but I don't know. Where are we at now? Almost flush. Man, I'm almost gonna say that is it. Maybe a 1/2 pop. And it's close to where I want it to be though. Yeah, it's about 1/2 pop too far, but I think it'll be fine. That's not like a crazy amount. I can just barely see this really shiny spot on it. Now we flip it over, and of course this side here we'll be having it sit on that shaft sticking out, so we press the peller on there. It don't push on the bearing any. But the first thing we gotta do before we put the prop on there, or peller, or what you want to call it, we gotta install the seal in there. And of course, I haven't even tried it yet, but this seal here, I bought it whenever I did my sprayer back there this summer. And I'm almost positive it's probably the same size. This is your seal. And then that's the prop, and the other part of the porcelains, that's what they go together. It says you're supposed to put that in by hand. But yeah, that fits on there just like it's supposed to. And then you can press that on that, and it'll press that in there evenly. Just the way it's made. So let's get that done. Get you guys back over here again. Let's see. Do I have anything else to build this up with? Add them on there. Well, these are just spacers, so I don't have to jack down as far. And there it is. Nice and tight. Set the seal back up there. That could be installed without that tool, but man, it just makes it so much simpler to have that tool. Okay, I'll set this back over here for the moment. Now we gotta get that porcelain rubber seal piece and this prop part here together so we can press that down onto the pump. I might take a little dab of this oil. Make it slide on there easier. And we'll get the shaft down here too, a little oily. Alright. Wipe the finger off again. Porcelain piece. Alright, it's on there. I like it. Feels good. Wipe the oil off of it. It's all wiped off the porcelain part of it. Turn my extra lights on. Now, set this up here. Set that down on there like so. And then we'll be pressing it down on there. And like I said, all I'm doing with the socket, it's just sitting on there so that the jack don't, I mean, I could move the holes up, whatnot, but it's just simpler for me to do this way. Now we slowly ease it down. Okay. According to the instructions, this feeler gauge here, and I don't know why they do this to all these darn feeler gauges nowadays, but you can't read the numbers on there hardly anymore. I could just very faintly see them, but this is 20 thousandths, so it's supposed to be somewhere between 15 and 25 thousandths of play between this propeller shaft here and the water pump. So what I'm going to do is put this in there and then pinch down onto it. And of course I'm going to come on this side here to where it didn't grind on it, so I know where I'm at. The other side where I put my JB wheel. Alright, start to drop you. Alright, it's getting tight. I'm gonna say that's a win, as it does not touch. And I've got 25 thousandths play. Maybe a little bit on the tight side. Depends on what part of the wore out metal here you try it on. Because that side there is really loose. But then you come around to this side here, and it's a little on the tight side. Let me me check something here real quick. Let me pull out these feeler gauges here. What do we got? There's 18. And it goes from 18 to 20. Well, 18 will go in it, or that one side is tight. So that means 15 would definitely clear. So I'm gonna call that a win. And all good. So our next step is we've got the main part of the pump done. Step over here. Next part is to put the housing back onto it. I've got a new gasket here. I've got the other gasket too that goes on the back side of this pump to the motor, but we won't be seeing that tonight. I mean, as far as putting this pump back together, you put the, well, actually, I need to put it on this one. Put that on there like so, and then the pump is going to sit on here like so. Yeah, I should have it the other way still. The bolts that go in it are not going to work like that. Set you guys here so I can get my hands free. Bucket of junk. So we flip it back over. Flip that over. Kind of wish they would have put some dowel pins in these things, just to make like lining this stuff up a lot easier. But it is what it is. Still struggling to get this gasket to line up. Yeah. So I'll get them started. Get these started. I like to hand tighten everything up pretty much. Verify my other holes look good. Impact them, but lightly. I'll go back with a wrench, make sure they're right. So we are pretty much done with this pump now. Like I said, there's a gasket that goes on here, and it goes between here and the motor, and then you got these 4 bolts here that bolt it to the motor. That on top of the motor, you got a radiator hose, this hose here, which had this fitting here on it. I'm not going to make the video of completely installing it. I got to find a new oil ring that goes inside of here. This one's no good. I mean, it shouldn't fit on her that loose. Slip the side off of there. I mean, I probably didn't help it out any, but whoever installed this pump, That's if, unless it was factory like that, I don't know. But I'm almost positive they put red Loctite on these threads, because I had to heat up the elbow in order to get this even to spin off. I was afraid I was going to break something on it. It was on there tight. I mean, it was not uncalled for to be that tight. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I mean, rebuilding these pumps don't take 15 minutes. And the price difference between fixing one, if it's possible, like I said, this one here did take a little more time because it was wore in pretty bad. I didn't know it was even bad until it just completely puked out. I mean, there wasn't no bearings or nothing left in that shaft. It was just all egged out. I never leaked any antifreeze until the very end. But anyway, I'm salvaging it. It's a lot cheaper to rebuild these than it is to go buy a new pump. I mean, I've got $120 here in this pump. These new parts in it. Work just as good as a new one. But anyway, that's it. Talk to y'all later.